Welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. I hope you all heard that. My name is Yolanda. I am your host. Thank you for tuning in. For those who are new, thank you for joining. I don't know how you all found me, but I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you continue to do so. Shows are every Thursday. I release a new episode midnight every Thursday, religiously on all podcast platforms, and I'm now releasing my videos on YouTube. So if you guys want to go to YouTube and subscribe to catch my videos, you're more than welcome. I also go live on Fridays at 9 o'clock. And if I'm not going live, if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, I usually send a memo out in the community notes. So I let you know if I can't. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I hope all is well. Still summer, but not long, not for long, not for me. Summer as in summer break. Summer is still here and it is what it is, but I only get like a month off work. I think that's a myth for educators. I guess people assume that all educators have like the entire summer, but with schools trying to do these year-long calendar or year-round, I should say calendar, you don't get a lot of time. I think teachers may have gotten the month of June as well as July, but I'm not a teacher. I'm on a 200 and I think I'm on a 210 contract. Anyway, I had maybe a month. So that time is shortening and it may get shorter if they actually go to a year-long calendar. So it is what it is, but we get breaks in between and it's not like we don't also have vacation time. So you can always take your time out. I am extremely hot in my house. It seems like the temperature is rising and my air conditioning unit cannot keep up with it. I don't know what it is. And then my vents keep closing. It's just something weird. So I'm hot right now. Of course, I got this bright behind light on me to try to make sure the lighting is good in the room, and I am hot. But anyway, I did want to tell you all, as far as my life update, that I've been experiencing anxiety lately, and I'm almost ashamed to say why I'm experiencing the anxiety, but it has to do with the November election. I know. I know. Why do I have anxiety about that? Well, my husband likes to watch the news. So, not that I don't, but I'm more of a like, okay, watch the news when you're getting ready in the morning type of girl. But I watch the news for fun type of guy. So, it's always in all news platforms. So, we watch the right wing news station as well because he likes to hear the different perspectives. And so much news and so much just negativity, uh, so much negativity that you consume will mess with you regardless of what it is. If you're always watching how people are getting killed or watching fights all the time, eventually that stuff messes with you. So all I'm saying is that, yeah, it's starting to mess with me. Why do I have anxiety? Just because I feel like, and I'm not even going to say I feel like, I'm just going to call a thing, because I am really frustrated with the whole process, because I like to be transparent, which is the whole reason I started this podcast. And what I can tell you about my life experiences and that the people I know, and how I was raised and what goes on in politics, most people that have the most opinion about why they're not voting or who they're going to vote for are usually people that are not that well informed. And I'm not talking about the news people. I'm not talking about people who are in politics as a career and they do this for a living. I'm just talking about like your regular smegular degular people who are on these social media platforms and commenting, or the people at your job that's just like, I don't want to vote for neither one of them. How can I put it? I'm going to try to say this as delicately as I can. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just speaking my truth, and I don't know how else to say it other than, straight talk makes for straight understanding, right? Most people aren't informed because they don't understand, and they're afraid to say that they don't understand. So it's easier to just go along with the norm, to just get along. Or some people go along with the opposite just so they can have clout, just so they can have an interesting perspective, just so people can engage in conversation with them and they can be somebody like, oh, that's the dude that's voting for the other side. Now, nowhere in this conversation am I telling you who to vote for. That's your business, and everybody should be voting based on their community needs and their personal needs, and how their views and morals and thoughts align with whomever candidate for whatever they're running for, right? But what I know is, and I'll give you an example because I know I'm talking crazy right now, but I work at a high school, and I can tell you right now, if I ask one of my 18-year-old students who are just getting ready to graduate, or I asked a recent graduate who may have done 2 years in college, or the ones who have just graduated, and hell, even some people I've grown up with, they would tell, if I said to them, what does the Republican Party stand for? What are some conservative ways? What does that mean to be conservative? What does it mean to be Democratic, a Democratic representative or whatever? They wouldn't be able to tell me. I'm just being honest. They don't know what the House and Senate is, what that represents. They don't know who makes the laws, who passes the laws, they do not know the whole scope of the judicial system. They do not know. That's just the truth. I am not telling you a lie. And the reason that is that they say some of the things that they say, because all they know is the presidency. And in their mind, the president runs everything, because they don't understand, which is why they do not vote in any other election, if they vote at all. So I text my own child, to let her know that I wanted her and her partner, her I guess boyfriend, to vote. And I asked her, was she registered? Because, well, I know she was registered because I made sure she was registered, but she just moved. So I'm like, hey, make sure you get your stuff, situated so that you can vote in November. She says to me, well, I don't know enough right now to vote. I haven't really, researched what each candidate is like, what's going on. I haven't been paying attention, right? That's what she said. She said, I don't know enough to make a vote. So she said. So then I said, I understand, but the elections aren't until November. You have plenty of time to do your research and gather whatever it is you need to know to make an informed decision. Again, that's my child. It's not my right to tell her who to vote for. I just want her to vote. Then she says to me, well, neither candidate is good. And I said, well, wait a minute now. That the two things that you just contradicted yourself. You said that you won't vote because you don't know enough, but then you somehow know enough to say neither of them are good. But I know what it is. You're going with what you've heard. You're repeating things that you've heard said in the media, on the social media platforms. And it's definitely social media platforms for my child, because I could tell you now, she don't watch the news, and she's 31. Most kids her age or younger don't look at regular news. Their news is whatever Spiritual World, Shade Room, TMZ, or either, if they follow any news thing on social media, says. And as we know, most of those titles, because they're not reading the article, let's be clear, it's just clickbait. So whatever highlight they saw on a story, they're just going with it. So I told her, I said, well, didn't you just say you didn't know who to vote for? So then I told her some of the things that these candidates are standing for. I got no response from her from that. But all I'm saying is that, and then for the people who say, I'm not going to vote for, I'm not going to vote at all because my vote don't matter. But yet I see you all voting on this, say yes or no on Instagram, and then waiting to see what the results were of the people, to see if other people think the same way you think. But votes don't matter, right? But you can take a stupid vote on Instagram with a new little poll system, and you can clearly see their numbers that say these many people said yes and these many people say no. But you really think that a vote doesn't matter in an election? Yes, it's millions of votes. So of course you're not going to see the results of it. And if you watch the news, you actually would. On election night, they show you how many votes these people got and in what state they come from. At the end of the day, is if that you need to see proof of that voting does count and matter, then maybe you should watch the news more. All I'm saying is, let's not be ignorant and let's make informed decisions. And it's okay to say you don't understand the judicial system. It's okay, or to put, anything about politics in general. It's okay. I don't either. I learn as I go. And if I have questions, I ask my husband, because he knows everything. So he'll break things down to me and I can read. So even if it's something, because let me tell you something. If I'm being honest, I have a lot of conservative views. Let's just be clear. I do. I'm being honest. Now, one in particular is this guy named, because his reels come across my page, and that's how I ran into him. His name is, and I wrote it down because I knew I was going to forget, Charlie Kirk. And he is a right-wing political advocate. I'm sorry, he's a right-wing political activist. And he wrote a book called The College Scam. Now, if you've been following me for a while, I've said this and I'll say it again. I truly believe college is a scam. I've been saying this for the longest. It is a Ponzi scheme, if you ask me. And not to say that education isn't important. I'm not even talking about public education. I work in public education for the K through 12 system. Obviously, we need some form of education. But the idea that I have to earn this degree in order to get this job, in order for you to have to pay this amount of money to get this particular degree, especially if you've gone to college, and depending on the college you go to, because there are different type of universities and colleges. Because if you go to a liberal college, you're probably going to take a lot of things that you don't necessarily need. And this is why I say it, because my first freshman year of college, I swear to God, it was an extended high school. All we were talking about was geometry, English, science. We was doing labs, all of the stuff that had nothing to do with psychology. Okay. I didn't probably get into my major until my junior year, which is why people opt to go to 2-year technical schools now. So you ask me, well, why did you go to college? Just like I tell my students, I went to college because what I wanted to do required me to go. Did I think I needed it? Of course not. Right now, to do my job, I could pull somebody off the street and train them in 2 weeks and they could do my job. That's just being honest. So for me to have to pay that kind of money, I was over $150,000 in debt because of my bachelor's and master's degree. I didn't come from money. And back then I knew nothing about scholarships, nor was my grades all that great for me to get a scholarship. So when people be like, oh, what has Trump done for the Black people? What has Biden done? Let me tell you one thing. I tried to apply for teacher forgiveness. Let's be clear, counselors are not teachers. So you cannot apply for teachers forgiveness. You had to apply for public service worker. When I applied for public service worker forgiveness for my loans, and this was way back before Biden was in office, I did not get approved. They told me that I did not make enough payments on my student loans because at that point I had made no payments. I had just been on forbearances and been deferred. So then when Biden came up with his, we're going to release student loans, they had all these programs and all these things that you could do to try to see if you can cut down your payments. And so I went ahead and applied again, and then applied for this loan. They said no, I didn't qualify, but yet you can do this program, which will allow you to pay down your loans faster. And if you pay this amount of it, then we'll forgive the rest. This was something different that they introduced that they never introduced before. I swear to God, I paid maybe 3 payments. And then I got a letter from the people, the organization saying your loans have been forgiven. And how I know it was Biden, because they sent the email from the administration or from the federal government saying, hey, would you like to make a statement saying how Biden has helped you with your student loan forgiveness? Because I guess he wanted to make that a part of his campaign to like showcase these people who he's given this debt relief to. So all I can tell you is that you have to make a decision based on listen, ain't nobody ever that was a lottery win. Ain't nobody ever forgive $150,000 and y'all still worrying about stimulus checks. All I'm saying is that's what worked for me. That's between that and I think Obama. I think it was Obama. When I bought my house, there was some sort of plan in place that first time buyers got this rebate back. And so those are 2 times in particular I can think of a president doing something that directly affected me. But all I'm saying is I do my own research. I go by what, again, is going to better service me and my family and my community and in which I live. At the end of the day, if you just going off of, okay, my homegirl who I know, she says she running for Trump. My parents are Republicans, so I'm gonna be Republican. My parents are Democrats, and I'm gonna be a Democrat. Yeah, you misinformed. I really need you to stand on something. I really need you to know exactly what it is and why you're voting. If you're just voting because you've always voted Democrat, if you're just voting because you've always voted Republican because that's just how your family did, and because I'm sorry, and this is with all due respect, if the world was ending and you had 2 people to follow, and this is person that you just really didn't, well, not even 2 people, it was 1 person. I can't follow people that I don't agree with their logic. You have to be an intelligent enough person for me to say, yeah, you making sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Some things just don't make sense to me. And if it don't make sense to me, listen, great minds don't think alike. They think for themselves. So if you on some bandwagon, I'm just going to tell you to get off the ride. You have to make an informed decision for yourself and stop just riding the coattails of people who have told you what you need to do and not you doing your own. I get it. It's boring. It's not that. But if you are a woman and you know that you done taken advantage of women's care as far as like abortions and birth control and all of these preventative measures, or even again, abortions or whatever you've done, then baby girl, you might need to do your research. If you're somebody who has a business and owns a business, you definitely need to do your research. If you're just a regular working person like me and you want to make sure you get your tax rebates and that things are in line with you and that you can just still live your regular life and there's nothing that's going to directly affect your day-to-day, then do your research. It's not hard. Hey, what are some of the things that the Republican Party has done for for us, and not just for Black people. Just put in what you can just Google. Y'all know how to Google search. I don't have to tell y'all that. Now, I done been on a 15-minute rant. I said all of that to say, y'all, please go out and vote. That's all I can say. Please go out and vote. Please inform yourself before you go out and vote. If you're not registered to vote, do it, please. All because it is scary to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's scary to anybody else, but just the idea, especially with the Supreme Court people and they just pretty much ruled that Trump has immunity as the president to do whatever it is that is under his presidential role. Like if he's president, whatever he does, illegal or illegal, he's pretty much immune as long as it was under the duties of I was acting as president when I did them. So I just need you to do whatever you want to do with that information. And based on the things that he's already done, and I know what you're thinking, well, he ain't did it to me. It ain't gonna be nothing for me. Okay. All right. When unemployment ain't there no more, when you can't get no reproductive systems, you know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not telling you. Same thing if it's Biden. If you want to vote for Biden and you feel like nothing's going to change and prices are going to go up and you're not going to be able to afford things, and you feel like because this man ran businesses that he's going to be able to have some relief, then whatever that is. But all I'm saying is please just research it and do it for yourself, not because somebody else advised you, but that you came up with this decision yourself because you understand what all of this politics stuff is about. Because I just know that most of y'all don't. And I ain't talking to just my listeners. I'm just talking to the world. Hope somebody listening. So I'm going to get off this rant right now and we're going to get straight into street talk. Sorry, it was so serious, guys. I promise you we're about to make, slightly light. Okay. Hey, my name is... Oh, I hit the wrong button. My bad, guys.
Yeah, look, yeah. What's going on? Let me know.
All right. So on a lighter note, did you all watch the BET Awards? Now, because there's so much going on in the world, I wanted to talk about them politics first, but let's get into the BET Awards. I did watch it because I like it. And I know the majority of the people. But before I say my opinion on that is, I just want to say that A-list celebrities don't attend these BET Awards anymore. They have stopped a long time ago. And there was such a thing, if you're not aware, that we would call celebrities A-list celebrities, B-list celebrities, C-list celebrities. So an example of an A-list celebrity would be a Beyonce. Everybody knows who Beyonce is, whether they're in Japan, Africa, United States. They know who Beyonce is. A white person, a Chinese person, Filipino, they're going to know Beyonce. They're going to know Oprah. They're going to know Obama. These are A-list celebrities. And then you have B-list, which is... right. Everybody's not going to know who Taraji P. Henson is. All Black people know who she is, but not everybody in Japan is going to know who Taraji P. Henson is. Why would, they may not have even been interested in the type of movies that she's been in enough, or she may be a familiar face, but you know how sometimes all of us look alike to other cultures. All I'm saying is that to me, she would be a B-list. Even, I know to us, she A-list, but to a lot of people in the world, they're not going to know who a Taraji P. Henson is. These, no shade to social media people, they're more like C-list. And I know y'all don't want to hear that because in y'all mind, these people famous. All these people, I'm sorry, something was crawling on me. All these people are famous, right? Because we see them so much because all we do is scroll all day. So you recognize them. But the litmus test for me be my husband, because he don't never know who nobody is. So this whole ordeal with this Keith Lee thing, I'm glad I waited to record because then now I have a different perspective because he's come out and made a statement, and so has Taraji. If you watched it or you didn't watch it, it was just an awkward moment where she identified the guy who looks like Method Man. He has like a thick beard and a mustache, and he's always making these like videos. I don't even know what they're about because I don't follow him, but I see him come across, and I've seen that he said people think he looked like Method Man, and he's even done a video of Method Man. I don't know his name either. I just know his face. Well, he was sitting maybe like 2 chairs down from Keith Lee, who does the food reviews. He goes to these restaurants in different states and reviews their food. And apparently people flock to these restaurants after his reviews. So they pretty much like his intake on those restaurants. So she was giving people their flowers. She had stopped to a couple of people prior to getting to them. And when she got to Keith, she confused Keith Lee and the Method Man guy. Now she said, hey, it's the Method Man lookalike. And she greeted him and was talking to him, who was actually the Method Man looking guy. But then she was like, okay, Keith Lee, and still looking at the Method Man like, what would you give this? Like a 10 out of 10. And then somebody must have cued her and she was like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, you know, my confusion or whatever, Keith Lee, you. And then she went to him with the whole 10 out of 10 or whatever joke. And then she gave him a rose and was just like, all right, call you. Ooh, you cute too. Just call me or whatever, and walked off. So then apparently she felt some type of way still about it. At the end of the BET Award, she made a statement saying, look, I'm human. I make mistakes. There was no ill will. I sincerely apologize. I'm woman enough to admit when I made an error. So then Keith posted a video that he later deleted where he dropped the rose and was like, we won't be going to places that we ain't recognized or welcome. And, you know, we going to be known in the places that we go in. Almost like, okay, forget y'all. I don't want this rose. Y'all ain't know who I was. So it is what it is, right? So then he came back out with a video after that and said, listen, I don't have nothing against Taraji. She's wonderful. But then I heard on the dark web, not really the dark web, y'all, but I heard on the back end saying that his agents was like, yo, you don't want to go after Hollywood. That ain't the people that you want to like piss off. So, and I'm assuming that's why he probably deleted the video. So then he came out and said it wasn't Taraji, it was BET. They had moved our seats and everything got messed up. And the production was just so rushed that she, you know, did the best that she could. She isn't Taraji, but she made a mistake. And I'm not mad at her, but BET could have done better. Taraji then posted after that and was like, listen, I understand his ego was bruised, but life is too short for this. Listen, I have been rehearsing all day and all, you know, I've been rehearsing for a long time for this, and he wasn't in the right seat. So yeah, I made an error because he wasn't sitting where he was supposed to be. So that was his fault. But I even tried to clean it up and apologize because again, it was just a mistake. Like, move on, is not a big deal. So people are mad saying Taraji shouldn't have handled it that way. But clearly for them to have to rehearse it and for them to want to seat them in a certain place, she didn't know who they were. And why would she? Your algorithm is set up based on what you like, the videos you like, the videos you comment on, the stuff that you. So if you don't do food reviews, then Keith Lee ain't gonna come across your page. And even if you've heard the name, maybe you can't connect the face. My husband had no idea who that man was, or the Method Man looking person for that matter. Matter of fact, he didn't know half of the people on the BET Awards, even some of the singers. He has no idea who Victoria Monet is. He knows the song and he don't know how she looked, but he knows, he's familiar with the song. Just, you don't know people's lives and how they're set up. But these superstars that they want, you know, that are social media superstars, they are C-list celebrities. Our own Black community don't know who all these people are, okay, at all. So just because you know them doesn't mean that they're international superstars, because they're not. They're just not. So yes, I'm sorry. I think that he's a great guy. I don't have no ill will with him, but I do know ego when I see it, and that was ego. It was ego all day and twice on Sunday. And it is what it is. We all have our moments, and he had his. And at the end of the day, people asked this, and I was curious too. Why was he invited there? I mean, again, I know why, because celebrities don't go anymore. Not your top-notch celebrity. Hell, most of the B-list people don't go no more. They don't. Who did you see there that, besides Usher, that they were giving the award to? Who did you see sitting in the audience? Let's be clear now. Half of the people sitting in the audience, I did not know. I did not know these people, and they were sitting in like the front row. So all I'm saying is that you just got to pay attention to some of that. But some things just are not that serious. And so moving along, addressing the Usher tribute, them people can invite who they want to. Those girls sung and they did a good job. I think it was intentional, the all girl thing. I don't know why. Remember, Jermaine Dupri was doing commercials about who he was going to select for the BET Awards and to do the tribute. So people are blaming BET, but it looked like Jermaine Dupri had a hand in that. So maybe y'all should talk to him, because he probably was the one that made those picks. But the girls did a good job. But it wasn't the fact that it was an all female or majority, because Childish Gambino did do the first song for the tribute. But did you notice that majority of the performers were women? But yet then Usher kept saying that he wanted to promote fathers and fatherhood. So if this was Usher's agenda, I don't know why the night shouldn't have been more male led. But anyway, I can probably count 3 or 4 guys that performed that night. It just wasn't a lot of male performers at all. But again, how many didn't want to come? How many had other things to do? How many didn't just want to be there? You just don't know. So because we're kind of just on the outside looking in, we're going to have our many judgments, but reserve your judgment until you maybe know what's going on, or maybe you know somebody who's went and can give you some insight on it. But we be quick to come to judgment on that, and we be wrong half of the time because we don't know. So I don't know what your thoughts are on the BET Awards, but that's actually all I got for that. I don't really have anything else to say about hot topics, because that's all that's been going on in the streets for me. So let's get straight into our topic, because I got anxiety and because it seemed like everybody so just on the edge about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with them. Let's talk about stuff that got to do with me, you, and everybody else. You know what I am kind of tired of? I am tired of being a witness to watching people constantly going through the struggle of people begging other people to change their ways by threatening those people with their love. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you don't do this, then we can't be together, or I'm gonna stop talking to you. I don't want to hear this no more. You talking crazy. And if you don't, then I ain't gonna give you no more money if you don't pay me back, because I already been helping you out so much. So if you can't pay me back, then you ain't got to worry about me no more. Like, the threatening of it is insane to me, because the whole point of giving a person an ultimatum is that immediately you have to show them that fat meat is greasy. That's the only time that they're not going to play with you again. See, we take this whole stand on business thing the wrong way. It ain't about I'm gonna stand on business because somebody's confronting you and you want to fight them. So you gonna no, it's in everything in your life. If you are about that life, then when you say you're gonna stand on business, that's what that means. That means that I mean what I say. If you do this to me, then I'll do that. If and then statements. That's what people, you gonna give somebody an if and then statement, and you gotta fall back or follow through with the then. What are you gonna do? Because if you continue, then you don't mean what you say. So why wouldn't I play in your face again? You just told me that, okay, if you do this again, I'm not going to talk to you. They do it again. I told you, you keep repeating the same thing over and over to these people. Don't talk to me like that. Don't do this. If you don't listen to me, if you don't follow my instructions, same thing with your kids too now, because this probably goes very well with your kids. Some of y'all can agree. It's you. All you do is yell all day. Don't do this. If you do this, I'm gonna take your PlayStation. If you do this, I'm gonna take the game. I'm gonna take the game. I'm gonna take the game. I'm taking everything they do wrong is a threat to take the game. The game will never get taken. So all they do is acquiesce. Yeah, mom. Yeah, dad. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And continue to do the same thing. And then you wonder why they don't listen. It's because you did not follow through with your threat. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out here and be gangster and be like, I said I'm going to slap you, and then slap them because you said it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying be in the street out here popping people in the face just because you're standing on business. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you emotionally draining yourself because you keep giving people chance after chance. And in turn, you're just frustrating yourself. I, for the life of me, don't understand it. People are not going to do what you want them to do. So you got to do what you have to do. And sometimes that may mean walk away, but that's walk away without an explanation, because you done gave them the if and then statement. You've already given them the ultimatum. Once you done said it, then that's it. You just got to mean what you say. And it's going to hurt. Yes, it's going to hurt you because you're going to want to talk to them. You feel bad when you take stuff for your kids. They're going to be mad at you. Newsflash, they're going to get over it, just like you did with your parents. Didn't you get over it? Yeah, you resented them a little later, but for something like that, because they took your game, ooh, I took their phone. Ooh, they're going to get over it. Your friend will get over it. Your significant other will get over it, whether they do or not. At the end of the day, if somebody's mistreating you, if it's a significant other and you say, don't do this to me or I'm going to leave, then my man, just leave. Just leave. Like, why are we playing these games? You tell them first, hey, I'm not going to tolerate this. And if you do this again, I'm out. They do it again, you be out. There's no conversation. We hurt ourselves when we put ourselves through these conversations and want to beg and plead. Well, oh my God, you said you weren't going to do it anymore. They're going to coddle you. They're going to, give you what you want to hear. And they're going to be back to doing it again. Because that just is what it is. You have to set the boundary, but then be about the boundary. You got to stand on it. You got to put that front up and not take it down, because then you look like the sucker. You become the sucker. You become a person that can be used and can be abused. And I promise you, if you get the strength to do that to the one person or thing that has been troubling you the most, because listen, your mental health matters. And let's not act like that stuff ain't stressful. Let's not act like you're not tired. You're not tired of going over the same thing over and over again. You ain't tired. I know you are. I know it stresses you out. I know sometimes you can't sleep at night. I know it hurts you deep to your core when them people do the same thing to you that they said they weren't going to do. Or it could be something worse. You're dealing with somebody on drugs and you keep telling them you need to get help. You need to get help. You need to get help, because they stealing from you. They begging you for money. You give it to them because then they come violent and they be belligerent, and you an enabler. You just handle it. And you say, I'm not going to give you no more. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to stop this. You need to get yourself help because I ain't going to help you no more. But you keep doing it. And they know your buttons to push because they don't learn you. And you keep doing it. You're an enabler. And you driving yourself nuts. It's going to hurt. Trust me, I'm only speaking for experience. I promise you, I would probably not be where I am today if I didn't put my foot down. And I am speaking for experience, especially with the drug thing. I was dealing with a guy that was on drugs. I've told you guys that before. Living with him, we were together for 7 years and lived together for 5. And I was an enabler, and I was homeless at least 2 times with him. I was homeless before that as a teenager, which was at fault, my mom. But when I got with him, I became homeless a couple of times, not because I didn't work and I didn't have my stuff together, but he was on drugs, and it was just hard to just stay afloat between the stealing and the manipulation of it all. So we would get a place and then lose a place, get a place and then lose a place. And I kept saying, you can't do this. You need to get help. You need to do this. And he just wasn't listening. Please don't, we had infidelity issues, but when the drugs got so bad, that was his girlfriend. And it was just really bad. It wasn't until I finally said, I can't do this anymore. My life changed completely. Everything that I knew I could get, I was getting. And I have never been evicted or homeless since I decided to let that man go and let go of the burden of, I'm going to hurt him if I walk away. How is he going to feel if I'm not in his life? What is he going to do? Because we so busy worrying about how everybody else feel, and we neglect our own feelings. Think about that now. You hurt into your core, and you don't care about how you feel at night, your anxiety, that you can't sleep or that you can't eat because of the stress of this person. But yet you care so much about them that you put yourself into that stressful situation. I had to wake up. I had to shake my own self. This is stupid. How can you care so much about somebody else more than you care about you? You're going to kill yourself. And this person, guess what? This going to move on to the next. You think that habit ain't going to keep coming? You think that person ain't going to keep using the next person? You just going to be like, oh, okay, well, that's going to happen whether something happened to you or you decide to stop. They're going to move on to the next person that they can use because that's that person. It ain't got nothing to do with you, but you got to let that go. And I know these last couple of episodes, I've been fussing with y'all, but I just want to, again, give you all some different perspectives on how to think about the things that you're dealing with. I just noticed and what I got going on in my life and the things that I've been observing. People are talking in circles. People talk in circles. They talk about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. And they would rather just tell everybody what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and what type of foot they're going to put down. But then the action part of it never happens. It's just a threat. Because you feel like if you say that, then that person cares about you so much so that they don't want it to happen. So, oh my God, he said he's not going to mess with me no more. She said she's not going to do this anymore if I don't get my act together. That doesn't happen. They're going to try you because they want to see what you're going to do, because they're going to do what they want to do. Meanwhile, you trying to acquiesce. You're trying to accommodate them. You're trying to accommodate them and they're trying to make themselves happy. They're going to do it. So guys, frankly, the fact of the matter is you got to look out for you. You got to stand on business and mean what you say. And you got to do what's best for you. You have to prioritize you. Your mental health matters. You need to be stable and whole, and don't work harder for somebody else than you do for yourself. Don't put somebody else's feelings before your feelings. Don't put somebody else's self-care before your care. And I mean, even talk about your churn, because if you ain't whole, them churn ain't together. If you ain't together, you can't help your mama. If you not together, you can't help your siblings. If you not together, how you going to help some man get his ish together when you ain't already together? It's stuff that you want to do and you ain't did it yet, but you talking about you going to help somebody else get on their feet. If you don't get your stuff together, If you don't get your business together, if you don't get that, go back to school like you said you was going to do and stop worrying about helping everybody else when you know you ain't got it together, get you together, and then you go back and get people. Ain't that's what the airline people tell us? All right, now you make sure you get your oxygen before you help somebody else, because what good are you if you pass out trying to help somebody else? It's insane. Jeez. Let me breathe before I get off this thing with y'all. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I'll be back Friday on YouTube Live. Come check me out. And until next week, y'all, I promise you I'm gonna stop fussing. We're gonna laugh a little bit at some point. When I got something laughable coming up. I'm glad to go on some sort of vacation at some point soon. I don't know when, but hopefully I have some fun stuff and we can laugh and smile then. But anyway, y'all, again, until next time, I'll holla. Bye.